So for this demo, I just want to show you a quick overview of an OpenSense sensor which is installed in a factory, and it's monitoring both energy and vibration. So in this instance, we've actually got an external Modbus vibration probe connected to our OpenSense unit. And we can fit that with rigid mount or magnetic mount actually onto a pump or motor or drive system. So we can monitor the vibration actually on the motor or the gearbox or the bearing assembly, which is very useful for predictive maintenance. And you can see on some of the data here we're showing things like peak velocity, frequency components in various locations, and you can see where it peaks. It's quite interesting. It gets up to 1.8 millimeters per second or 0.418 millimeters per second for the Z-axis. So you can see the two-axis you can see the 2 degrees of freedom being monitored there on the vibration levels. We've also got power measurements going on, so we've got current clamps monitoring power to that drive system, to that motor, and you can see how many amps have been pulled on each phase. So we've got 53 amps on one phase, 58 on another, and 60 on another. So that's the power feed to that motor where we've got the vibration probes fitted. And then you've got a nice little pie chart which just shows it's almost balanced, not quite perfect, but that's a typical 3-phase kind of load that you see there on screen. And then we can also calculate, based on the kilowatt hour energy cost, we can actually calculate a real-time running cost for that motor, for that machine. So that's what it's cost to run for the last 6 hours. It's cost £7.92 to run that motor, and that is the ton CO2 consumed as well as part of that energy piece. So we can calculate carbon emissions, calculate costs, kilowatt hours. We've also got the auxiliary measurements such as sound and light levels being captured there. Again, you can see numerical values and then graphs and pie charts and bar charts for all of this data, and this is very customizable. We've got widgets where we can display the data in different shapes and forms to suit your requirements. And we can also go back in time. We can look over the last 7 days and just see what kind of activity there was during that time period. And if you wanted to home in on a particular region, you can do so. I could draw, let's say, if I draw around sound, so it's particularly noisy here. If I draw a box around that area, I can correlate the sound data with all the other measurements. So I can look at the light levels at the time, I can look at the energy consumed during that time period, look at peak velocity and vibration stats on the motor for that given time period. So it's all really interesting stuff, and you can see peak there on velocity at the drive end and the non-drive end. So this is very useful from a maintenance perspective and also from a running cost perspective for that business owner. And you can see the breakdown there for kilowatt hours over half-hourly time periods. So I can look at how many kilowatt hours I consumed for each half-hourly period, which is what you're typically billed for when it comes to energy. You can also look at light levels and sound levels on this dashboard, and you can probably correlate the sound to when the machine's running as well, or some kind of event happening on that machine or close proximity. So these things are all very useful from a machine maintenance perspective and also for energy consumption and energy monitoring for the business owner and the maintenance team and the maintenance engineers that work in that business. That's it for this one. Thanks for listening.